Welcome back, guys. Today we're starting a brand new Football Manager 24 rebuild, and it's a big one. We're taking over Real Madrid with one simple mission: win as many Champions Leagues as possible. My personal goal, at least 3 in the next 5 years, while adding plenty of Spanish silverware along the way. This is not just a straightforward rebuild though. We're going full realism. That means we'll be using an accurate Xabi Alonso tactic, all the latest transfers in and outs, and only making realistic signings based on genuine links or moves that I could see happening. Oh, and if you want to play along, this save file, this tactic, alongside of everything that I post, is on the Patreon, where all the videos are also ad-free, so make sure you go and check it out. The link is going to be in the description. Let's get into it. So then, Real Madrid, a team similar to Bayern, which of course aren't in need of a rebuild in terms of getting them right back to the very top, but in terms of a rebuild of actually new manager, 5 years, what's the picture, what's the story, how much can we win, who comes in, who goes out, new players, excitement. There's a lot of excitement around Real Madrid at the moment, and they have got a lot to be proud about as well. They are a club, of course, that is no secret to be serial winners. 15 Champions Leagues, hence the Champions League lust for today's video. 5 Club World Championships, 36 Spanish First Divisions, 2 Europa Leagues, 5 UEFA Super Cups, 20 Spanish Cups, 12 Spanish Super Cups. This team are born to win. Anything less is not accepted by the board, the fans, anyone. People will not stand for it. We are here to win. Now, as a club, we are talking about a 5-star reputation, one of the biggest brands in world football. The youth recruitment is actually quite mediocre for a club of this size. Youth facilities are sensational. Training are very good at 4-star. The owners love the club. There's plenty of money going around as well. And we've been active in the window, which we are going to talk about in a brief second. But first of all, we're going to talk business, because business is important. And at the end of the day, before I show you the team on paper, competitions, that's what we're going to talk about. We are a team that are playing in 5 competitions in one season. Now, this means you need to have a great squad, which they do have, but of course, players leaving, players coming in, and my twist on things over a 5-year period, I want to push my limits and attempt to win every single trophy you see on your screen at least once in this rebuild, meaning I'll have to win the Spanish First Division, the Champions League, the Super Cup, Spanish Cup, and Spanish Super Cup all in one season to achieve the ultimate dream. Now, what I will say is, the Spanish First Division, we do have competition. It's not a one-horse race in this game. You've got Barcelona, fantastic team. In this game in particular, Atletico Madrid can cause you issues. They're a solid team, but our bitter rivals Barcelona are incredible in this game, as they are in real life. When it comes to the Spanish Cup and Super Cup, we run into the exact same problems. We've got Barcelona and the other side of Madrid to deal with, and they'll always be there to try and knock us down, and that's hopefully where we can try and get over that line. As for the Champions League, it's the creme de la creme. You can see here the amount of times we have won this competition. It's the one that I want to win the most. I'll happily sit here right now and tell you that if I won the Champions League 5 times this video, I'll be happy with 1 title win in terms of the Spanish First Division. That is how much it means. That aside, before we go and look at the transfers, back home if you were playing, you could have £61 million to go and spend. For me, I'm not going to sign on top of the players I've done in real life, and therefore the money's going to remain in the club, because we do have a bit of debt, just a little bit of debt to try and deal with, so I'm not going to go and overspend. Let's go and see now, hopefully, what the team looks like, but more importantly, what transfers have happened. Well, the first player leaving is going to be Luka Modric, a Real Madrid legend. I'm going to give him the title. I think Real Madrid fans would agree with me. If I'm wrong, let me know, but sensational player, beautiful player to watch. Such an absolute magician in that midfield. So hard to mark, but he is 39 years of age, so I'm sad that he's gone, but I'm not annoyed that he's gone, because I can understand why they did offload him. And do you know the great thing about this? The fact he has gone to AC Milan. He stayed in a competitive league with a top club, and I hope he has a couple more good years in him, because he will be one big player to lose for football as a whole when he does retire. But that is one big name to lose as Madrid. What a player, man. This one's interesting for me because I feel like he's been on the cusp of leaving for years, but never really did. Didn't know he was 34 either, but Lucas Vazquez is going to go to Bayer Leverkusen. I would have sold him anyway, to be honest with you. But they do it for me. It's a good move, Bayer Leverkusen. I thought he was about 27, I'll be honest, but a little bit older. He seems like he's been a player that has just been happy to be at Madrid and slot in when and if he can, but you know, his time's up, sadly, but at least he got a good club to go to. Players coming in, the big one, the man on the thumbnail, Trent Alexander-Arnold. I mean, one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. Was one of the best right-backs in the Premier League. He's a right-back that I really like, even when he's at Liverpool, and I'm a United fan. He's a right back that you'll never see another Trent. He's very unique in the way that he actually appears to be a lot more comfortable on the ball than a lot of defenders, even the advanced defenders. But of course, he does have the old, you know, he can't defend one-on-one debate and, you know, all of this and all of that. And I know a lot of Liverpool fans, basically 99% of them, do not wish the best for him at Real Madrid. But I'm hoping I can get the most out of him. Now, I will say, when I look at him in the game, he looks absolutely fantastic. Great crossing, great first touch, 18 passing. Got to be make sure I'm using that a fair bit. Good technique. The tackling's not great. The pace is decent. Who knows what can happen with him? What I will say is I'll never sell him. They're not going to sell Trent at all. Whether he survives in the first team for the next 5 years, I don't honestly know. But as an Englishman myself, I do wish him the best. It is quite nice, in my opinion, to see English players go to top leagues abroad. You look at Bellingham, you look at Trent, not as much of a unique example, but look at Conor Gallagher, you know, look at Tammy Abraham, look at Tamori. You know, these are players which it is nice to see him go out and actually try different leagues. Very strong player, obviously, in real life. In this game, not exactly brilliant, but I will leave him in the squad. I will not plan to sell him. A fantastic player, which, to be honest with you, if you're doing this over 10 years, you probably could get him into the team towards the end. But I was unsure how good I could make him in terms of editing his stats for potential ability, so I've left him as he is, purely because I've not really got enough information on him as a player to make a rough estimate. So he will be a backup player. I imagine he will get game time because we do play a lot of games, but the harsh reality, yeah, he'll be a backup. Of course, we've got Franco coming in as well. Now, I will say, I've been trying to find Alvaro Carasas. I can't actually find him in this game, so I'm going to make sure I'm not missing out on him. I don't know why he'd be missing from this database, but he's the only signing that I'm not going to show because I can't find him yet. But I am aware he did join. This guy, however, looks really, really good. Again, similar to what I was on about with Dean. He's got the potential, but over 5 years, is he going to get a chance to show it? I'm not too sure. So there could be a world to loan this guy out. I'm not going to lie, because I don't really want to waste his potential, but also at the same time, he would be handy to have around at the club for if he needs to step in. But that is going to be all the transfers outgoing and coming in, and it gives us this team. Again, any part of the video you want to grab this tactic, you want to grab the save file and these perks, they are available all on the Patreon. Whatever I post on YouTube, all the files go over there, plus more that only go on there, so make sure you go and check it out. Now, this tactic is incredible. I knew Xabi Alonso would revert from the free back when he went to Madrid because their team doesn't suit it, and super happy what he's actually got from this team. Now, what I will say is we've got an abundance of left backs. We've got Camavinga who can play there. We've got Alvaro Fernandez. We've got Mendy. We've got Alaba. We've got Garcia. You know, we're blessed when it comes to left backs. Right backs, you've got Trent and Carvajal. Courtois in goal, pretty decent. Militao, Rudiger, Dean, Alaba. Asensio at centre-back there. You've got some pretty decent players. Bellingham, Valverde, Tuchinemi, Ceballos, Alaba can play there. Martin on the bench, Rodrigo, Gonzalo, Gula, Endrick, Brahim Diaz. Obviously Gula in there as well. Vinicius, Gonzalo, Mbappe. The team's amazing. The team is absolute, it's a breath of fresh air. But there are players in this team that I will be selling because, and I'm going to give a reason now for each one. Number one, Brahim Diaz. I think he has been pinged about enough, and I don't really feel like he is going to be a long-term solution for Real Madrid. Now, I don't know if I'm going to let him go in the first season or two, but towards the end, I am going to offload him. It's not like a get him out the door ASAP sort of vibe, but I do believe he will not stay as a Real Madrid player. The big one here is Rodrigo, because there's been several links, but nothing's actually happened. So I'm not going to shoot the gun and sell him, unless we get like an offer coming via the game, and I'm like, oh, do you know what? maybe that actually could happen. I mean, he is 24, so even after 5 years, he's only 29. So I doubt, you know, I'm going to want to offload him based off age. Midfield, Bellingham's not going to go anywhere just yet. Valverde won't. Obviously, when it comes to Camavinga, there was rumours, but hopefully he'll be a bit more settled under Xabi Alonso. I hope if I was a Madrid fan, he will be. I know Ancelotti sort of played him here, there and everywhere. Trent's obviously brand new. Rudiger, I think he will have one more move, potentially to a Saudi team. And then you've got the batch of players such as, for example, you are going to have the likes of Carvajal, Courtois. These players I will not sell, but I will let retire at the club because I think they will. You're also going to have the likes of Alaba. I will consider a Saudi move for him. There's a lot of stuff. Mendy, I'll consider selling. Ceballos as well. But of course, they can't go and not be replaced. So we are going to make sure we replace them sensibly, efficiently, and try and sign a one-to-one. But realistically, on paper, my starting team probably would be something like this. I would have Mendy in to start based off video game because he is really, really strong in the game. And I would actually, Gula's really good in this game. I probably would have Gula there. And I'd line up with this team. But of course, we're not locking in players. So we're going to see what happens, see where it takes us. We're going to get into the first season now. Drop a little like on the video. And if you like it that much, a subscription will mean the absolute world. It is completely free and helps me out massively going into FM26, which is finally coming out. Let's get it coming out. I say very soon, not very soon, but it is coming out. Q Season 1. Positive signs. We're into a Spanish Cup final right from the get-go, but sadly, we are going to be apparently going 1-0 down. We are against Real Haspalis from Natan, I believe, is a centre-back. That is not a good start. Luckily for us, literally seconds after, an injured Mbappe, who carries on, to be fair to him, plays it back into Bellingham, little 1-2 with Gula, into Valverde, and we tie it up 1-1 in the 46th minute. And this game is going to swing the way with the mighty Madrid men, and that is going to be a 2-1 win. Brahim Diaz stays at the club for a season, and he even grabs the winner. Same can't be said for the Spanish Super Cup, as sadly, Barcelona edge us on that game, which I'm really not a fan of. I don't want to lose to Barcelona. Mark Burnau had a great season alongside of Bellingham based off this one competition. Oh, I don't like that feeling. Not a big fan of this one either. We're going to lose the Super Cup against Atalanta. Very surprising with this one because I'm not being funny, but I think we should have their number quite easily. They put 3 goals past us, which is one thing, but then we lose the penalty shootout as well. Oh my, what's going on? It's like the Bayern rebuild where everything crumbled. This is worrying. This is a 4-1 loss to Barcelona in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. That is I'll be sacked in real life for this. Round of 16, we do beat Arsenal, but that is really not good enough. But what happened in that? Oh, no. Oh, no. That's not a good first season. I mean, we've definitely got room to improve, but that's not a good first season. I mean, it's only a point in the league, which, you know, that can happen. That was not fine, but I've seen worse. But to lose the league, I mean, you've got a lot of Barcelona players in the stats there when it comes to goals. Marcus Rashford, Lewandowski, Rafinha in the rating, but then so have we. Vinicius, you've got Mbappe, Bellingham, Gula, but it comes down to 1 point. 1 point's nothing. The pendulum can swing either side, and at the end of the day, it feels worse because we have lost to Barcelona in the league, the Champions League, and obviously the Spanish Super Cup. So, you know, we've not beat him in anything really. We didn't even get to play him in the Spanish Cup. So that is a season of, I'll use the word, disappointment. That's the word that I'm getting. Plenty of room to improve, and oh boy, we need to improve. Now, in terms of money, we're still going to be blessed because we are Real Madrid, so that's one small positive. We still are going to be heavily backed going into Season 2, but is it deserved? No. I can't sit here and lie to you guys. Way too much respect. That money is not deserved from a performance like that. I am absolutely gutted with the performance of this team. And I can tell you something right now. There will be changes. There will be faces coming in. There'll be faces coming out because clearly something needs to be changed. That is not acceptable. Now, based off the goal front, we're not doing too bad. I want to see more from Rodrigo. He can do more than 20. I've seen more than 20 from him. Mbappe, I've seen more than 24 goals. Vinicius is doing incredible, 29 and 12. Endrick done really good, 17 and 2. To be fair, Brahim Diaz was one of our better performers, 13 and 11. things need to change. I'm not going to waste too much breath on this first season. Sorry. Genuinely sorry. We are going to offload Ferland Mendy. I'm going to get rid of him because I think he is going to move in real life. And we are going to actually take 29 million. And we do send him to Saudi because I was really unsure on any other team. There has been several Premier League links. Newcastle was one that I was looking at. But at the end of the day, I think he will leave, and I've not given myself like 70 million. I've kept it quite humble, so we can reinvest that money, although we have got good left backs already. So I might just use one of them. But at the end of the day, firstly, I couldn't compete with a £1.3 million salary per week. So I'm sure he's going to go there and live a pretty good life. Loved him at Chelsea, loved him at Real Madrid. A very sort of, you know, not toxic, but I guess toxic defender, you know, gets in attackers' heads. Rudiger is going to go to Saudi for £34 million. We got him on the free, of course, but done his job here at Real Madrid. I'm going to move him on because he is 34. We can reinvest that money. And very similar to Mendy, £1.3 million a week. He ain't going to go hungry. Several links, and I didn't want to spoil it. Alphonso Davies is going to be our new left back. Several rumours, at least a year ago, of him actually leaving Bayern to go to Madrid, and I've made it happen. 17 goal contributions, 72 million. Significant spend, significant player, and hopefully a significant improvement in competitions. Really good pace, good tackling, good work rate, good stamina, good dribbling, decent crossing. Perfect, one of the best left backs in the game and world football when he's fit and stays at his best. He is an absolute treat of a player. Hopefully things can turn around. If anyone, why not Madrid? They've signed Portuguese centre-backs in the past. Antonio Silva is going to come in for only 23 million. Now, he's not going to play every game. We've still got really good centre-backs at the club. But he will slot in alongside of Dean, one of them players that is there for the future. For 23 million, we can afford to have him there, you know. We're Madrid. We can afford to pay 23 million and not start him every single game. So when I'm in this luxury situation, next week I'll be rebuilding Morecambe or something. So I'm going to make sure when I've got the money, I use it wisely. And really appreciate when I rebuild these big clubs, because sometimes we're working with pennies. So it's quite nice to have Antonio Silva just as a backup. In links before, not just with Madrid, but other clubs about when he was going to leave, and you know what? I've made it happen. Obviously, we're going into a brand new season, new opportunity. We are going to pay 42 million for Leao. Now, we only play 6 games, 2 goals, 1 player of the match, so he does decent in the games that he plays. He's not guaranteed to start in this team, and this is the polar opposite of rebuilding, like Basel, which we done, for example. This is the complete opposite. We've got money to spend on rotation, and I'm going to spend it, because whatever happened last season, I don't want to see it ever again. So that completes an £137 million window. But don't forget, we also profited 63 million. So that spend isn't as bad as what it actually seems. And thank God for that. We are going to be Spanish league winners at bare minimum. At least we have won something. Mbappe top goal scorer, Rodrigo in third, Gula, Vinicius, Alphonso Davies, the best performer in the league, the third top assists, Courtois the most clean sheets. That is incredible. Militao the most yellow cards. I'm not going to flex about that one. Over 100 points, 1 loss against Atletico Madrid, 1 draw against Aspalis, but a significant improvement. And I mean big time. Last season, I don't want to remember. What happened? Forget about it. This is our time now. These next 4 years, we need to win as much as we can. I can't even explain what happened in the first season, but now I'm confident. Please make me win something else. Right, well, we are going to get past the round of 16 over Newcastle, slotting us into the quarterfinals, where we are going to beat PSG. So that is instantly one of the teams that I worry playing out of the competition. The semis, we are playing Aston Villa, and we beat them 7-1, and we face up against Liverpool, which is a pretty mad game, considering I will be starting Trent. Oh, he is going to get booed. I didn't start Trent. I didn't have the bottle to start him. I started Carvajal for the Champions League experience, but the first goal we concede actually comes from that area, as Florian Wirtz is going to make it 1-0 inside of 33 minutes. And I tell you what, the Liverpool team is looking dangerous with Isaac up top, but we are going to get back into the game here with Alaba, 39 minutes into Gula. Great first touch, drives it into the bottom right-hand corner, and it is tied up 1-1 before half-time. Right in to the second half. Mo Salah loses the ball. Camavinga, very, very intense press there. Into Vinicius. Is he going to pass? What's he going to do? He's not going to pass. He goes alone, and we're going to take the lead 2-1. Vinicius Jr. doing what he does best. Absolutely incredible. A little bit of a Liverpool set piece here. Eventually, he's going to find Isaac into Florian Wirtz, who might go alone here. He is going to go alone, and it's awful defending again from that side, and the game is all tied up 2-2. Until this point, Alaba, experience, Davies, pace, down the left-hand side, into Mbappe, plenty of space on the ball, back inside, Diaz, the man that stayed for another season, is going to get the goal and give us the lead 3-2, and we go again. Valverde, plenty of space, ball inside, into Diaz, down the right-hand side, loads of space, little ball in, surely, there it is, a 4-2 UCL win. As we also win the Spanish Super Cup 6-1 over Barcelona. Goodbye. Absolutely incredible. In fact, the only thing we don't win is this Spanish Cup, where Barcelona do beat us 1-0. But big, big improvements here. Spanish First Division, Spanish Super Cup, Champions League, the treble. Would have been nice to win the Spanish Cup, but we were quite a bit away from the final. In fact, what teams were actually left in that? So if we get through to the semis, you know, we could have matched up against one of these two, potentially got to a final. Either way, did Barcelona go on to win it? Just a little 7-0. That's an absolute bloodbath of a final, but a very, very big season for us. Massive improvement, and the team I'm super happy with. You know, just a couple of new additions, you know, which, to be honest with you, I will say, Davies has made a big impact, you know. 2 and 19, 5 and 16 for Valverde. A lot more from all the players, you know. Gula, 44 goal contributions. Rodrigo, 31 and 14. Vinicius, 30 and 23. You got 7 and 8 for Tuchel. Leao, 4 and 1. 6 and 1 for Dean. Diaz, 11 and 8. Endrick, 5 goals. Even these random goals off the bench, 1 goal, 2 goal, 5 assists, 6 assists. They all help out massively. When you compare it, you know, to how many games we play, this team has to run a lot. They have to do a lot, you know, and at the end of the day, we can't achieve this with just 11 players. We need a whole team, and that's exactly the mentality I take into every rebuild. So, looking at this team on paper, they've just won a league, they've just won a Champions League, but we have got £290 million, still quite a fair bit of debt, but we've got £290 million. So I highly doubt we will spend that, very highly doubt it, but we will be active in the window and carrying on strengthening this team because, you know, we've still got stuff to win. We still want to try and win that quadruple. We still want to be that team that wins consistent Champions Leagues. I don't want this to be a one-off. I want to win the league back-to-back. I'm not here to win it once. I'm here to win it all. So, no outgoings this season, but incoming is going to be Angelo Stiller. Very rumoured player to go to several clubs, but I've poached him. I've got him from Stuttgart. Of course, he would not question this move, especially at 27. £38 million, very heavily substituted player. I mean, he will not start many games because we have got a world-class pair in midfield, but to have him on the bench is really, really good to have because I know how good this guy is. I know he can step into any game and really dictate the play with that 16 passing, that great technique about him. Does he stand out anywhere else apart from the vision, the composure? Not really. He's got a bit of stamina about him, but for a backup, he's more than good enough. And like I said, we spent 38 million. For Madrid, that's pennies. Tons of links and heavily likely to happen in real life at some point. Canate is going to be signed for 85 million. 20 games, 4 goals, a 7 average rating. His first time in Spain, he's nearly played in every single top European league. So fair play to him. I mean, you can't really question that. And he's still got it at 29. He's still got a bit of pace. The strength never leaves him. The heading's there. The tackling's there. He's really, really strong when it comes to the passing. He suits this team really, really well. And proper Real Madrid transfer target. So despite him being fairly expensive, for realism reasons, I had to make it happen. Now, the last signing was more signed off the realism factor of if the bid come in, he would very much be tempted. And that is going to be Maximilian, coming in for 83 million. 17 goals, 3 assists. He's actually going to be a competitor for Rodrigo on the right-hand side. And he will be a big competitor. He's got blistering pace, great determination, great finishing, great composure. He can play up front. he's got a lot going for him, so Rodrigo is not guaranteed every game. This man can go toe-to-toe with him. He is a significantly good player who has developed really well in this save especially, and when I saw him on the market, I was like, do you know what? Let's get him in, because if this did come in real life and he was told, look, you are going to get game time in this Madrid team, we just won a Champions League, might win it again next year, you're going to be a starter, you're going to have nearly double your salary, he would definitely consider the bid. So we are going to welcome in Maximilian, and that is going to complete a £200 million window. So much for not spending all of it, huh? But we do find ourselves in another Champions League final, so something has gone right. And Arda Güler down the right-hand side into Rodrigo, who does start the final, and Vinicius out-jumps. That is not good defending. A good goal there. And we go on to wrap up a back-to-back Champions League final win, which is such a nice sentence for me to be saying, in 2-0 fashion with Vinicius into Güler. I'll have a little bit of that. We'll take it. So Trent leaves Liverpool and he wins 2 Champions Leagues in 2 years, and both of them against Liverpool. Yeah, mental. Absolutely crazy. In fact, Liverpool have been runners-up in the Champions League 3 years back-to-back. If I was them, I wouldn't even turn up to the final. Semi-finals, we blitz Arsenal 5-1. Quarterfinals, we blitz Inter Milan. We're battering everybody. Round of 16, we humiliate Porto. And the league phase, we don't lose a single game. We're back. Can't quite get to terms with this competition. You know, we are now runners-up 2 times in 3 years. Why can't we win it? Spanish Cups, we can win them, but we can't find a level of consistency, you know? We're losing to Barcelona in these, which is, you know, an acceptable team to lose against, I guess, but I want to be that team that doesn't drop this stuff. Different final, the Spanish Super Cup against Atletico Madrid, already down to 10 men. Surprise, surprise. Davies a ball back stick. Goalkeeper has a nightmare, and it's going to be a 1-0 lead from Arda Güler inside of 39 minutes. And because they had 10 men and they don't attack Atletico Madrid, we're going to go and take this trophy comfortably in 2-0 fashion with a great run there from Rodrigo, going alone. Incredible. The league, we win the league as well, meaning we have won the Spanish Super Cup, the Champions League and the Spanish League, and we go invincible with 1 draw against Sevilla. 112 points, Mbappe with 45 goals, 4 players in the top assists, Güler, Rodrigo, Vinicius, Trent, Courtois up there with the clean sheets, Maximilian, the best player in the Spanish League in his first season. That's beautiful to see. Absolutely beautiful. Did he score goals as well? Yes, he did. 17 goals. Vinicius 17. Güler 15. Bellingham 13. This team I am in love with, and what a season. Very similar to the last season, actually, you know. Just flip these around and it's the same season. So still room to improve. I'd love nothing more than to win all of this in one go, as I did mention in the intro. But so far, we're now sort of indulging in back-to-back Champions Leagues, back-to-back league titles, and they're the 2 that I really want to try and keep winning, you know. If we can carry this projection on, we could win 4 Champions Leagues back-to-back, and that might hold some sort of record for me. A very, very, very strong season. I'm sure the money's going to be there. It damn right is. 245 million. I would like to quickly say as well, we do go on to win the Club World Championship final 2-1 over Barcelona, so that is another trophy we did go on to win. And as seasons go, we lost like 4 games. That is incredible. And can you expect it? Some will say yes, some will say no. You've got a fantastic tactic, you've got fantastic players. You know, you look at the front line, you've got Vinicius, Mbappe, Güler, Rodrigo. You go to the bench, you've got sensational goal output. The back line's good, the goalkeeper's good. We have got older players now, I will go on to say. You look at some of the older players, you are going to have Carvajal, 36 years of age, you know. He will consider retirement. Same with Courtois. Same with Alaba. You've got Ceballos. You've got Militao getting older. This is not a perfect team. There are still issues. So we're going to have to replace them, and replace them very sensibly, because we're in a sort of situation now where we're winning so much, so consistently. These players go, the player that replaces them has to come up to that standard. And that's a whole lot of pressure to put on anyone's shoulders, especially if we sign youngsters. Well, we are going to sell Brahim Diaz for the lower end of the price tag. Now, he has been playing quite well, so his price tag was pretty decent, 42 million. Now, he's gone and had his best season because he is playing over in Saudi, but with 42 million, we can really look to potentially bring someone else in that AP role to help Arda Güler and hopefully benefit the team. Now, what I will say is, he is still 29, so we probably could have had a couple more years out of him and kept him, but I just feel like in real life, especially in 3 years' time, or 4 years now, he won't be a Madrid player, so that's why I sold him. We're preparing for Courtois' retirement. Costa is going to come in. Now, I will say, he cost a lot. I'm not going to make a joke again. He only plays 6 games because we've got Courtois, so that is a pretty easy explanation. Very similar reasoning to the Maximilian debate. If Madrid come in for Costa, he'd go in a flash. It's a pretty well-known fact, especially if you factor in that he'll be at Porto for 4 more years based off this. Why not take the move? Go and try and win a Champions League. So he is going to be a player of ours, and he's on a fair bit of money per week, but if there's a man to replace Courtois, it's Costa. And to replace Diaz, we are going to welcome in Martin Batterina. Now, of course, would take the move to Madrid, and he has developed into a player that I think Madrid would actually go and sign. Some would say Luka Modric regen. A very, very, very good player, sensationally, technically, mentally, and to be honest, physically. He cost me quite a fair bit of money, but done sensationally well. 9 goals, 4 assists, great average rating in 18 games, kept his head held high despite not playing every game. Very versatile, only 26, world-class, 10 pros compared to 3 cons, and one of them's heading, which we don't need. I mean, what a window that is. We've replaced Courtois successfully, we've got a great player in Batterina, and we've offloaded Diaz. Great bit of business. And oh boy, we're in another Champions League final. That is 3 years of Champions League finals, and Bellingham picks up Valverde over the top into Rodrigo, and it is going to be a 1-0 lead inside of 9 minutes. And I tell you what, this is getting special because I want to win as many as I can. Sadly for us, PSG have got a stacked team. Gonçalo Ramos finds Kvaratskhelia, who goes through and makes it 1-1 about 15 minutes after, and the game can now go into anyone's corner. Mbappe, the former PSG man, into Rodrigo. Plenty of space. Is he going to pass it back? He sure is. Into Mbappe. Misses it. Güler rebound. And that is going to be a 2-1 lead inside of 42 minutes. And once again, Madrid are going to take advantage. Valverde into Vinicius. Little cutback into Güler. Into Rodrigo. Takes on his man. Bursts past Mendes. And that is going to be a 3-1 advantage with only 20 minutes to go. And despite PSG looking deadly, the only goal they can get is a consolation in the 78th minute, meaning Madrid are 3-time winners. All done back to back. How crazy is that against very, very strong Champions League teams? That's the Madrid that I know. And what a competition. Mbappe, Rodrigo, Vinicius, Güler, everyone turned up. And the Spanish Super Cup, we are going to win against Atletico Madrid, meaning we are now winning that quite consistently, you know. That one we can do. The Spanish Cup, that's in God's hands. Well, the Spanish Cup, we've got a chance to put it right because we are playing Real Sociedad, and they are a team that I think we can beat, especially when you give Vinicius. He's missed that. That is awful. Luckily, the rebound come in. I was going to say when you give him that space, he'll score, but he needed the rebound to make that happen. Inside of 60 minutes now, and I'll be honest with you, Real Sociedad are down to 10 men. They're playing awful, and this final is going to have one outcome. We make it 2, and from this point on, they may as well have just clocked out early. The fans leave because we were not going to let it slip. Güler back into Davies. Plenty of space. Down the left-hand side, a ball-back stick into Rodrigo. When you're letting Rodrigo win headers, you know your team's given up. That's what I will say, and this is a good example of them giving up because what is that for a goal kick? Just clears their half. Mbappe picks it up into Batterina, and that's a moment for the Croatian. Soak it in. As we finally win the Super Cup by a goal, we scrape it over United. We've been in the final 3 times. Finally we win it, and we win the league. So we have won all 5 trophies, and we've given ourselves one more season to do it all over again, which I am absolutely buzzing with, because I would love nothing more. I've never won 5 trophies back to back. I'd love to try and do it, and I think with this team, it might be possible. You know, you've got Mbappe, Vinicius, 46, 26, Courtois with 16, who is still not retiring. Interesting. Gula, Vinicius, Alphonso Davies has been electric since being here. One of his best seasons since putting on that magical Madrid shirt. And a flawless season. We win everything. Cannot ask for much more. The last season we are going to go in with 274 million. The debts and loans are creeping up, and we are not, you know, we've not once have we overspent. I will say we've not overspent once. You can go back and check. We're not overspent, so that will be there. I can't clear that, I don't think, but we're going to carry on with our projection. And looking at the team right now, where do I spend this money? I mean, you look at the ability of this team: 4.5, 5, 4, 4, 5, 5, 4. The backline in terms of Trent, Militao and Alaba are actually the weakest. And some might say, Josh, bring in like a world-class centre-back. And I might do that. I'm completely unsure, to be honest with you, because this team on paper have just won everything in the game. You can't really critique too many men in the team. I mean, Davies 3 and 22, Tuchel 10 and 6, 15 and 18 for Bellingham, Rodrigo 23 and 14, 55 from Gula combined, 66 from Vinicius combined, 78 for Mbappe combined, 18 for Canate, 16 goals, 20 for Valverde, Maximilian with 16, 19 for Camavinga, 7 for Leao, 19 for Batterina. Even the bench players are putting up first team numbers in other rebuilds that I do. This team's incredible. I love it. And when you look at the schedule, we only lost 3 games, and they were close. Look at the sea of green. This team's wonderful. Well, I've kept it quite basic for the last window, because why fix something that's, you know, not broken at the end of the day? We do, however, need a backup right back, and I'm going to pick up João Lu. He comes in from Sevilla. Again, very simple, straightforward move. He wouldn't batter an eyelid except in this deal. Increased wage, 3 times Champions League winners, biggest club in Spain based off this game as well. And I mean, at the end of the day, why wouldn't you take it? As a player, he's actually severely underrated in my opinion. Very well-rounded. For a backup, he ticks every single box, but he isn't the last signing of the video. The last signing is going to be Finn Joch, coming in from Stuttgart for 75 million. Now, this guy is a diamond. This is the only change in the team, and changing one player won't affect too much, I hope. But when he was on the market, 23, German, Cruise regen, he comes in, big price tag, big performance, big player, very, very good, world-class, 10 pros, 2 cons. Look at the physical. There is only one attribute, not yellow. That's how good he is. Great marking, great passing, great tackling, great positioning, great aggression, determination, vision. I mean, he can play centre-back, DM. This guy is like my dream player. Anyone that has watched more than just this one video of mine, you know I love versatility, plays with potential, younger players that can be around for 7-8 years, and this guy you can use from that Patreon as well. So you're set. You've got a fantastic future in midfield, and do you know what? I think we can win 5 again. Let's go and see. The Super Cup final, we are going to be playing Barcelona, so not exactly an easy fixture, but it is when they're making mistakes like that. Yeah, you can't be doing that against Real Madrid, because we will capitalise and take advantage as we do. And we go 1-0 up very early on. The new man in midfield plays it into Davies. Elegant pass. Oh my, wow. Beautiful. Oh, okay. That is a beautiful goal to go 2-0 up in 30 minutes, and that might be the goal of the video in terms of team play. Absolutely incredible. Canate into Bellingham, into Arda Güler, who has kept his position in this team from minute 1, because I think Xabi Alonso likes him, as Mbappe is going to make it 3-0, and the only thing that Barcelona can do on this dreadful occasion for them is to get a consolation. And do you know what? I wasn't even worried when this went in. This team I trust in any situation, as we are going to go and win the league again, making that 4 times in 5 years. Scrap the first bad season. We've now been flawless. Mbappe top goal scorer, Gula joint second, Vinicius joint second, Gula, Vinicius, Rodrigo. And can we just take a moment to respect everyone, but respect 2 people. Firstly, Courtois. Now retiring, legend of the game, 38 years of age. Of course, we have got Costa ready to replace him, but he has been a Madrid man now for so many years. 10 years practically. I mean, what a man in football he has been. And I tell you what, Arda Güler, I give him the chance right from the get-go of this rebuild, and he's been nothing but absolutely dreamy. He's been incredible. Been such a joy to work with, and what a player he has become. Worth a lot more than that, I can tell you that for free. Get him a new contract, because you do not want to sell him. He's a man with 16 pros, only 2 cons, ridiculous attributes, still only 25. Come on, guys. I mean, honestly, what a team we've built here. We're going to go into a 4th Champions League final, and it is against Liverpool, which we have proven we can beat. On this occasion, though, they're looking pretty hot, and Gakpo is going to make it 1-0 inside of 18 minutes. But would I have included a highlight when we're going to lose? Would I have done that to you guys? Well, the answer is sadly yes, because a Bellingham mistake gives them a Champions League final win. And the last season was not perfect. We obviously lose the Champions League against Liverpool. We go out in the 4th round against Malaga in extra time, and it completes a not disappointing rebuild, because we have been very good, you know. Champions Leagues, we won 3 back-to-back. 3 out of 5 years is very, very strong. We hit our goal. Super Cup, we actually managed to win 2 times despite having a stinker in a couple of the years. The actual Spanish Cup, this we struggled in. Only 2 wins. It's a Super Cup we've done very well in. We won it 4 years back-to-back. The same can be said for the league as well. We win that 4 times back-to-back. So overall, we've done a really good job of turning them into a Spanish... I know they're already a Spanish giant, but a Spanish giant in terms of they win everything every single season. We are really that team now, and, you know, money-wise... If you want to carry on, you're going to have close to 300 million to go and spend. The net debt's come down a little bit, to be fair. But if you want to clear that, just don't go and spend any money. Keep winning. Luckily for you back home, you've got a team that can carry on playing. You've got some fantastic players in here. We go over to the squad, for example. Go to ability. Look at the ability of your squad. It is absolutely ridiculous. In terms of the age, you have got a few people approaching the higher end of 30, but it's not like an emergency. You can still easily play a couple of seasons here if you really wanted to without signing a single player and still do really well. But if you're anything like me, you will still go and spend. So my advice would be to spend cautiously, try and keep it under 100 mil, recover some of that debt, which, you know, we didn't cause, but they already were in. And let's just take a second to appreciate perfect reputation, fantastic trophy cabinet, which has been expanded tenfold, and a Madrid team which could be the reality of Xabi Alonso. Couple of questions for the comments. Number 1, what do you think of the rebuild? Number 2, what do you think Xabi Alonso will achieve in real life? And number 3, not a question, but if you have enjoyed back home, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and a little comment on the rebuild you want to see next. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. This one, no words. Hala Madrid.